Okay, I'm Neil Murphy from Coventry Adult Education Service. I'm here with Sandra Smith. I'm going to start this off by giving sort of an overall aims and what we were doing, sort of context kind of thing. Then I'm going to hand over to Sandra to do the main bit about the activities and what we're doing. Okay. Oh, Sandra, thank you very much for sharing that. Okay. Um, okay, so we were doing a, oops, disappeared.
It's disappeared. There we
Yeah,
go.
it's come back again, right. Okay, so we were doing a small action research project, which was very good timing because we were about to start a project or a program focusing on city council staff with little or no digital skills. So if you want to go to the next slide, Sandra. So yeah, so our focus group was city council staff who needed to improve their digital skills for work and daily life. And I say that the project dovetailed really nicely because it was right at the start of the program. So we decided, okay, this is the start of the program. We'll do this action research project as part of that program. And it involved 3 tutors. Um, and we were looking at sort of learner collaboration, getting learners to collaborate with an idea of promoting learner independence in the future. So we weren't just thinking about improving skills for work, which is obviously very important, but also in their daily lives. So how they're communicating with their family, doing things with their daily life. I think some of those themes have come out already in some of the other presentations. So we were looking at 3 particular things. So can you go to the next slide, please, Sandra?
Yep. Oh,
Okay.
when it decides to move, it
Okay.
helps. No? Oh,
Oops, go back a bit. Yeah, okay. So talking about learner collaboration. And so we're looking at getting the learners to know about video conferencing platforms for meetings. So we focus on Zoom. So getting them to set up meetings and conduct meetings, either at work or with their family and friends. And then we looked at a couple of very useful apps. A Jamboard has been mentioned already. So how to sort of foster learner collaboration using Jamboard. Sandra's going to be talking about that in a minute. And also Google Sheets. Okay, so we didn't just focus on one thing. So we had one tutor doing the video conferencing, one doing the Jamboard, and one doing the Google Sheets. And they each did a couple of activities, which we then got feedback from the learners. And I'm now going to hand over to Sandra to do the detail of that. Okay, Sandra, you're on.
Well, actually, I am so privileged to have Harmesh and Lynn with us today. So I am going to pass to them to quickly, just a couple of sentences, say how it was for them to actually deliver the activities, because they're absolutely wonderful what they created. And I don't think I will do it enough justice. So, Harmesh, if you'd like to just talk very briefly about Zoom, because we can talk more in the breakout room.
Okay, so hi everybody, I'm Harmesh. I'm one of the Coventry City Council adult education tutors delivering EDS. So what I decided to do was, as we moved on online, we wanted to engage the learners through distance learning. So it was really important that we could ensure that they can get onto Zoom, which has obviously come out from a lot of the presentations today as well. So, the video platform was really important. So I focused on getting them onto Zoom, creating resources on there, showing them, their sort of way around Zoom and how to get onto it, how to share their screen, how to schedule a meeting. So we went right back to basics, first of all, for the low level learners, to make sure that they can actually download the app if they wanted to, or sign up to the app, and then schedule a meeting, invite people along to it. And we actually got them to do that as part of their homework as well. So we got the learners to sort of go away, do it in class first with us, and then actually set something up at home with their family and friends. And then they shared their feedback with us, which was really good, just to sort of see what they had, learned from it, what they were going to take away from it as well. And a lot of them were really appreciative of having learnt these skills, especially during the pandemic as well, and engaging with people, and generally for their well-being as well. So it was really important this particular activity that I worked on. And like I said, the students really enjoyed it, and it was very, very useful for everybody, us as a team as well, to sort of share across the curriculum, because everybody wanted to go online, not just our curriculum. So it supported everybody as part of our good practice as well.
Thank you, Harmesh. And on to activity 2. Lynn, if you could just share a little bit about how you use Jamboard. And this is just a very rough screen print of what Lynn has devised.
Right. What we decided that once we'd gone online, that when we were conducting a qualification, that some of the qualifications, when normally in the classroom we would have the students with us and we could keep an eye on them and make sure that they weren't cheating and making sure that their activities incorporated everything that they should. Suddenly going online, it made it that we had to look at it at a different angle. And as they say, look outside the box. Instead of looking inward, we decided to look outward, and I started using the Google Classroom and then found the Jamboards. And this is one of the Jamboards that I created that incorporated all of the things that had to be done. We can keep an eye on the learner, because as soon as they enter into the Jamboard, after being invited in, a symbol comes up. It shows that they're in the classroom. It also records the time, it records the date, and then it follows them being able to move the items. So not only can I move the items, but so can the learner. We started off by showing them how it would work, how they could use the Jamboard, and then when it came to actually doing their qualification, off they went. It would be a case of you would send out the invite, they would come in and then do this activity. What they had to do was take the arrows and move them in the right direction, which you can see. So each of the questions that was correct would point towards anything that was pointing outward would not be the correct answer, obviously. And then it could be recorded for evidence. So as I said, it would tell you who the person was, what time they were doing it, and at what time of day they were doing it, and the date that they were doing it on, which we found very successful. We have 11 Jamboards in total, that each one incorporates 1 to 3 pages, where they can be able to do them rather than having to type in on a paperwork based that they could maybe download or copy. This can't be copied, it can only be recorded while they're being worked on at the time.
That's lovely. Thanks, Lynn. So basically that's just showing how it can be used as an assessment tool with date, time, recordings and evidence rich. The Jamboard was also used in a collaborative sense, because Harmesh took on board the Jamboard and actually used it within the EDS, looking at the different elements, components, the 5 components, and getting the students to respond to the questions that she'd asked above. So it's showing 2 different ways there of using Jamboard, and we can talk more about that later. The third activity, which isn't on here, unfortunately, it was to do with using Google Sheets collaboratively. And in using Google Sheets collaboratively, the tutor involved within the Action Research project set up the sheet, and the learners would actually all input into the one sheet and give the answers that way. So they could then work, and then one learner who couldn't attend the session anymore had to work asynchronously from home. So she actually then took and answered the collaborative sheet from home, and they could still work together and get answers. So that was showing how Google Sheets could be used in that format. So those are the 3 activities that have been produced for this Action Research. The impact has been great. We've got recordings now that will be produced and given into the next report. We have, and that's the tutor and learner interactions, the learners saying how it was for them, what they've done with it. And they've got voice recordings, video recordings, and other, and also Moat is being used as well as a capture format. So that's showing that they've engaged, that learners have engaged in these new activities. The tutors have already reflected on them and tweaked them slightly. And it's showing that learners can achieve and progress outside of the classroom setting. So thank you all for listening and look forward to talking to you in the breakout room.